Now here is where we're going to get into some of the connectors and stuff that I was talking about. We would get into the technologies. I mentioned the hard drives. The first one we have here is the parallel ATA interface, or PATA. Now I will tell you, all hard drives for the longest period were basically all considered to be ATA drives, which was basically synonymous with IDE and then EIDE. Basically, IDE was ATA 1 and EIDE was ATA 2. I don't want you to worry too much about those specifics, but basically we had our ATA drives. And the reason we refer to them as PATA or PATA is because of something we're going to talk about next, which is that we now have serial ATA or SATA. And so to differentiate the two, we decided to call the original ATA PATA. But the bottom line is here, what you see circled on the screen here is the connection, and it's a 40-pin connector, and it uses a ribbon cable similar to the one you saw on the floppy drive. Matter of fact, if you look to the left of the circle, there's a black connector there, and that's a 34-pin connector. That's actually the floppy connection. Okay, so just a little side note there. When working with the original ATA drives, or the IDE or EIDE drives, you could put two drives on any one cable. So basically what you did was you daisy chained the two into what was called a master-slave scenario. Okay, one of the drives had to be set to master, one had to be set to slave. And that way they could go ahead and both communicate through the same IDE or EIDE controller. Now very often this was done through jumpers, and that's what I have illustrated for you here. Don't take what I have illustrated as being literal. You would have some kind of indication on the drive itself on how the jumper should be set if you wanted it to be a master, how it should be set if it should be a slave. And there was also a third setting called cable select. And that was an idea where rather than have to worry about, well, this drive's a master and this one's a slave, and do I have my jumper set up correctly? What if we just put all of our drives to cable select, and then depending on which port on the cable it was connected to, one would be the master and one would be the slave. All right, so that didn't always go over so well because you didn't always have the technology in place on the motherboard or the ribbon cable to support it, but that was an idea that was out there as well.